thing called app services. App services. Now, at such app services does not have too much like the PowerPoint or material. It's just a service. So what it does? So think about a computer. So in computer, we call VM, right? So far we call VM, right? We create a VM and we also create a VM skill set, right? But app service is, you don't do it. Azure does for you. So here, so far we were doing VM, we were creating VM, right? We were creating VM's skill set, and then we were deploying our applications on inside. Now app service says, don't worry about it. I'll do two things for you. First, I'll create infrastructure, which is nothing but VM. I'll create infrastructures for you. So you don't worry about infrastructure. Second thing I'll create is a runtime environment. This is very important. Please understand runtime. So you may say, what is runtime? I never heard about it. So infrastructure perspective, you get a VM, you get a operating system like Linux or Windows. But runtime perspective, you get a Java, you get a C#, you get a Python, you can get Node.js, all kind of interesting thing you get out of box. So this is very important for developer. So think about if I'm a developer, what is my requirement? My requirement is I want to run my code. So as a developer, I want to run my code. But so far, what we used to do that, we were creating VM. So we come here, we spend time VM, then we install runtime. We do a lot of heavy lifting. Azure say, why you are doing that? This is your day-to-day activity. You are like a Java developer, you are React developer, or you are web developer. This is your day-to-day activity. Why you're spending time here? We can do for you. And that's why they introduce app service. So app service internally use VM or VM skill set, internally use it, but you will not need to worry about it. Who does? Azure does. So that's a complete managed service, complete managed service. So whenever I use word of managed service, think about that you are delegating your responsibility to Azure. So once you delegate your responsibility, you don't have to worry about it. Azure will take care. And you only focus on your code in the sense of application. So far, any questions? So far, any questions? Good. Everyone is good. Oh, Priyank is here. Awesome. Oh, Zoya is here. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
So the
app service will take care. The good news about this app service, first thing I love about app service is anyone who start their career with a limited time and then say, yeah, I want to develop the web applications. Why would you spend time on doing this? Because this is something you have to manage, like scale and your configurations and other things you have to manage. Here, app service will pick up the pace, like what infrastructure you need and what kind of scale you need. Everything will do that. Now, the 4 labs we are going to do, and these labs which will have theory, which I'll cover. The first lab is like web, which is called web development. All are web development, but this is the web with HTML static website. HTML static website. If you ask me, today you're going to learn laundry list of things, which you become a developer type of thing. Though in 3 hours, I can't make developer, but a lot of things you're going to learn. So those who miss this class, if you ask me, it's a lot of loss. So first HTML static website, we will deploy an app service. Then we'll deploy another thing called ASP.NET. So we'll create ASP.NET MVC, ASP.NET MVC applications will develop and we deploy that. MVC stands for model, view, control. So let me just explain. So again, I'm not teaching right now web services or other thing, but just good news about understanding model, view, and controller. Whenever somebody says controller, it means logic here. It's a logic where you write a code. So whenever somebody write control means like a program, which you write a logic. Whenever it's a view means HTML page, which is the UI. It's a user interface or user related thing. User can see it, user can interact. And whenever we say model, it's nothing but data or data storage. So whenever you are showing like example customer, example you're talking about product, example you're talking about order, so that's a model. Again, model, view, control, very popular thing. This is one of the best pattern in the industry where every applications you see right now, they are kind of designed on MVC. So if you are going for real world, And if somebody asks, hey, have you developed application? Based on today's knowledge, you should say yes. Of course, you will not be expert, but you can say yes. The third thing we want to develop is React. So we'll develop application called React. Now you say, what is this React? I never heard about it. Trust me, you might not have heard about, but in a real life, these are very big buzzword. So there are two type of technology is very popular. One is Angular and one is React. Now Angular and React both are UI. So this UI which we are talking about, this application is UI centric. Everything is written in JavaScript. UI, it's a JavaScript. Now React was coming from Facebook and Angular coming from Google. They are both huge competition. I worked for Angular for almost, like, I would say 10 plus years, React for 4 years. Though I didn't find too much difference between these two applications. Both are wonderful. The easy language, React is more about, like, if you have a page, like example, a page, they call SPA, single page application. So each page, anything you have, you can create a component. So React is component based. If you remember this word, good enough for your interview. React is component based. So everything you define, React is a component, and it's a reusable component based. While Angular is full-fledged MVC, and it is enterprise framework. So if you go for big company, like example, Amazon, or big company like, maybe Blue Cross Blue Shield, JP Morgan, they will normally use Angular. They may not use React. But if you go for small company where their goal is, like, just do simple thing, like example, Facebook, just insert, update, like, they're not doing huge thing, and if they want to do fast, then the React is that. So any new company like mom and pop, they normally use React because first it's simple, it's easy, it's powerful. But if you are going for gigantic application company, they will use Angular. Now, ideally, you should know both because they both work together also. So I'm going to teach you how React can be deployed to UI. And the last but not least, this is my favorite subject. It's called container. So we are going to cover container. In container, we are going to put like our web server. Again, web server. So the way it will do, we use a concept called Docker. See, Docker, we use a concept called Docker, and in Docker, we'll use web server, ngx web server. So we'll use web server, but can I use React inside? Yes, you can do that. Can I use ASP node? Yes, you can do that. Can I do HTML? Yes, you can do it, but we will not do that much. We will just show you the concept about how it works. So we'll create a Docker, and ngx is the image, we'll use it, and we'll say, hey, app service, can you deploy this application for me? So then we will give it to app service will deploy the application. Goal of the exercise is various way we're going to deploy the application to app service. Now I use word deploy. So what is deploy means? So when I ask what you call Azure, give me app service, it's going to give me hardware. So please understand, when I ask, it's going to give me VM, okay, and it's going to give me runtime environment. So think about that. I go to a hotel and say, you know what, I need a luxurious suite, right? So what is luxurious suite means? Or I need kitchenette. What that means? When I get a room, I will have kitchen associated. Or luxurious room means I will have office, right? I will have office, sofa, TV, and all. So same thing, app service. You can tell app service, I need this. So first app service, what do you need? So infrastructure. So you can pick up a machine, smaller machine or big machine. Pick up that. And then say, I need a scale, manually or automatic. It will do that. And then say, I need Java, I need .NET, I need C#, I need this. You tell app service, and then app service will do for you. After that, app service will be automatic. Technically speaking, you're just going to do couple of clicks. And after a couple of clicks, you will have everything ready. But that's just room, just like a hotel. But there should be a person in the hotel, right, who can use it. So app service give you infrastructure and runtime. But there is no code, there is no application. So without application, how are you going to use it? So that is the reason this 4 exercise we are going to do. We're going to do start with web, simple web. Then we are going to do ASP.NET. Then we're going to do React, and we're going to do Docker. Any questions so far? So far making sense what I'm trying to explain? Right? Now, yeah, ASP.NET. Now, there are certain other things you need to know. Today, as I said before, you're going to learn a lot. I'm super excited. It will work if you do very well, because majority of you will do very well. Now, anyone who has done development, you need to have certain accounts. Just like, if you use computer, then you need to have email, yes or no? And if I ask you, do you have email? And if you say, no, I don't have email, then it's like, I will see like very curiously, really, like filling with that. So if you're a developer, there are 4 accounts you need to have. So the first account you need to have today, and we will create it because you are first time, then you need to create it. Everyone should have a GitHub account. So you need to have a GitHub account. If you say, I don't have GitHub account, technically speaking, you are naive in the IT world. Just like if you are using computer or cell phone, you need to have email. If you don't have email, you are kind of considered as a, very, what do you call, latecomer, easy language, because entire world have. So GitHub, where you put your source code. You put your source code in the sense of your HTML code, your .NET code, your Java code. Anytime person works in a real life, they work with GitHub. GitHub is a more DevOps concept. Though DevOps thing I teach in GitHub, 3 hours, I have video in case if you want to watch, but at least you need to have an account. So we need to create. If you are using Docker is like, if you ask me right now, buzzword in the market. If you ask me, it's a money, I would say cash money. If you put your resume, just Docker, people say, wow, Docker like that. It's kind of Mercedes. It's a beautiful concept, new concept, last 4+ years, it's been marketed. So no one knows about Docker like hundreds of years or not 20 years. See, VM has been there for 25 years. I know VM, I use VM for last 20+ years. But Docker was introduced in 2018 when Google came up with a concept called Kubernetes. So 2018 to 2023 is not too many years. Still companies are going through that. So they are looking for, hey, do you know Docker? So for Docker, just like a source code, you put the source code in a GitHub. Same thing, Docker, there is a concept called image. Docker concept is image that you put in a Docker hub. So we need to create a Docker hub account. Now this is not going to take time. It's just a Docker hub account. Docker hub account you need to create, because Docker hub account through you can easily process, read, upload your images. Those who are going to DevOps class, I spend a lot of time in Docker. I explain that, but time being, today we will create an account, we'll play around. So a lot more to cover. Along with this journey, we are going to use a software, the software which will help us to do all the development, which is VS Code. So we are going to use IDE VS Code that we call IDE. I is called integrated, D stands for development, E stands for environment. IDE, integrated development environment. It is the reason I have selected VS Code. First, it's simple. It takes only a few minutes to download. Second, it works in Mac, it works in Linux, it works on a Windows. Third, it has a lot of extension. Extension means you ask it and we can use VS Code and deploy our application to app service. And there are a lot of testing you can do locally. So knowing VS Code make you a developer, because if you do not know VS Code, then I need to install approximately 15-20 software, which I don't have time today. Neither in real life I do that. So now in real life, people are saying, stop everything, just use VS Code. It's a simple editor. Angular, React people definitely use VS Code. Nowadays, people are doing any development or architecture work, they use VS Code. If you're doing Python, R, C#, Java, they use VS Code. VS Code has a lot of goodies, so you can use in all courses. So once you know VS Code, it will be life simple. So this is something we want to cover in next couple of hours. So are you guys ready? Give me thumbs up so we can continue. Everyone is ready? So I see Priyank is ready. What about other? Dimar, Jonas, are you guys ready? Yes, so we can continue. So first thing.
We're ready.
Awesome, thank you, Sid. So first thing, we'll go step-by-step approach, okay? In your Google class, if you notice that I have added a lab information. So if you click on the lab information, I did like structures and please log in, everyone. Please log into Azure account. So I already have Azure account open. So if you have not, just log into Azure account. And when you open the Azure account, on a search, you just click on search and do you see app service? If not, we can search your app service. So when you click on app service, you get this type of screen. Stop me anytime in case if you feel like I'm going too fast or you're not catching up. Make sure you follow the flow because you will enjoy the most. Now, there are two ways you can work with here. One is the portal. So this is our favorite one. We are using through portal. So we come to app service and we do this thing. This is our portal. The second thing we can do through VS Code. So the VS Code which we are about to install, using VS Code, we can do all things what you can do here, all things you can do here. So VS Code gives you extension. VS Code gives you extension. Using extensions, you can do all work which you can do through Azure. So today we'll do like a blended approach. Something we'll do in Azure, something we'll do in VS Code, so you'll be comfortable. So right now, you come here and let's click on create. Create. And now you have seen there are many options available. One is a web app, one is static web app, one is database. I cannot teach database because it's quite a little bit coding, and WordPress, no one uses it. So these are the two most popular normally people use. The people, WordPress and all, like those are like mom and pops company where they are doing smaller applications they do. But most of you, when you're going for, you will be most likely going to use this one. Very limited chance you will be using this thing. But web app is your bread and butter. 90% company, those who are paying you approximately 80,000 or above, they will use this. This company hardly will give you 30,000 because they are very small application. Those are not enterprise applications. These are designed for, like, you know, if I'm like having a liquor store, or if I have a small store from like my basement, then those people do WordPress application. Mostly it's a static. So right now we'll click on web app. Yes.
So static where you have that in storage also we did the static.
Yeah, this is a little bit different. Little bit different. Storage, in the storage, what you did, it's just like different. This here you will get a scale also. In storage, you don't get the scale. You just store it. It's just like a Dropbox. Right? So now click on web app. Yeah, we are creating a web app. So people on phone, I'm hoping you are coming to this screen. You need to remind me before we go home, we will destroy our resource group. So we're going to create a new resource group. Today, let's do resource group web, RG web, and just say OK. So relax and enjoy. Just click on create and say RG web. And easy, you can do that. Now we're going to give a name. This has to be unique name. So whatever I type, please don't type it. Use your name and just do plus and minus type of thing.
Unique within the whole scope of.
Yes, because it's created on what you call domain. Domain in the sense of entire world can see that. So make sure it's unique. So normally what I do is I add my name and you add your name. So we will not have problems. So right now, let's say I say web TUS123. Very simple. And you do your name. So you can write web and your name, Silas123, Damar123, like that. Okay. Now you can see there are three options available: Docker, container, static web, and all. Do you see that? So we are going to follow code. This is what in real life, 80% people use that. 80% people use code, where you do your own development. But there are some people, they do like this way. Please pay attention. They develop the code, and after code, they develop the image, Docker image. They develop Docker image. And after Docker image, they deploy as a container. So this is now trend in the market. Now, the old trend was people were developing code and then deploying. Now, the new trend is they develop the code, then they create an image, and then they deploy. So this concept from code to Docker image, this is more called pipeline. We call CI/CD pipeline, CI/CD pipeline. Though app service does has a wonderful CI/CD pipeline, I will try to show something, but to be honest with you, it will take you to the different direction. So I'm not going to show too much time, but I'm going to walk you through how you can do that. So app service does give you CI/CD pipeline. Please understand. Sometimes in an exam, people ask you question, how can I deploy automatically? So there is a concept called CI/CD pipeline. I'm going to show you. We'll try a little bit so you will understand. However, there is an interesting part in a DevOps class, which we cover entire CI/CD pipeline, starting with the Jenkins. Azure has Azure DevOps. It's internally, they have pipeline. So I'm going to show you that. So right now, let's do code. Now you come here as a runtime. Now, because we are using many runtimes, so you can see here, depend on your company, which team you are working, Python, Java, Node, you can pick any, framework. But because we want to develop ASP.NET application, we're going to use 0.8.NET. Now you say, why 8? Why not 5? Why not 6? So there is a 2 divider. So after 6, ASP.NET become more advanced. So this has called .NET Core, just for your knowledge purpose. This is called .NET Core. What does that mean? So if you select .NET Core, then your application can be deployed on Linux and Windows. Let me show you so you will understand. But if you use older version, then it will most likely shouldn't give you Windows operating system, because that only works in Windows. So based on the runtime, your operating system will be different. So check it out. See here, I'm going to select 4.8. So you can see it's only give me Windows options. And if I select here 8, then it gives me both selection. It means I can select Linux or Windows.
First option.
That's a grouping. It's a group. Java, .NET, that's a group. So far so good. We'll use 0.8.
Only 4.
Yes. Now please understand, in a market right now, almost everyone is using .NET Core. The reason it is because Microsoft was losing ground when they were only Windows based. But after .NET Core, they are now Linux and Windows based. So that kind of helped them to use AWS, or they use Linux environment. Almost every company started moving to .NET Core. So right now, I would say majority company where you're gonna work will be .NET Core. Now, if you come here, it will automatically select region. For our case, region is not important as such because our focus is more about app service. But you can select the region where your clients are closer. Okay, you know that part, you can just select it. But right now, I'm gonna keep it here. Now, if you scroll down, I want you to see, sorry, question? Okay, now when you come here, I want to see the plan. This plan is like a depend on what kind of plan you're using. So what happened is, anytime you are using this machine, which is called hardware. So please understand, there are words I'm going to use, which is sometimes confusing those who are new. When you are developing application, web application, you are called web developer who use IDE. You use IDE, please understand, integrated development environment. And using IDE, you develop the web application, which is nothing but web file or web. Normally we call WAR, web archive. And this WAR, in order for you to see that in action, we call deploy. If you deploy, then it will work. And then you and me are user, like just like a google.com or facebook.com. When we are using, we are user. And these users using internet, we access it. And when we access this, we need a DNS. DNS means domain name. Just like google.com or just like facebook.com, our application should have DNS so we can access to our browser. Of course, we need internet. But this environment where you are deploying, there need a machine. The machine have a type. So like here, we are talking about that machine type. How much memory you need in this machine? How much CPU you need this machine, right? Memory and CPU need. So sometimes this machine is called hosting environment. Hosting environment. Why? Because your website, which you are deploying, will go here. And once it's here, it will run. So now think about that. If you're 10 user, maybe you can have simple machine. But if you are like Amazon, 10 million user, then you need a lot of machine, high-end machine, scale and all. Yes or no? So this hosting part, you need to think about scale up, or scale out, right? You need to think about that. Second thing, CPU, if you have less machine, less CPU, less memory, then it will be slow. So you need to define your usage, what kind of machine you need. Normally, if you are working on a real life, you will use premium version. Premium version means you have a redundancy. Right now, I use standard, which is the cheapest one. So you can see that redundancy is disabled. Redundancy is disabled. Only thing is available is single. But if I change here, to premium, just try to do premium V3 and see now it's enabled. So if you are in Azure, you're most likely going to use premium plan. That gives you redundancy. But if you're just learning as a development, you use standard. In standard, you can see these options are not available. You are only using single. So like example, I use free. Suddenly this is disabled. Yes, question?
So when you set up here the
Yeah.
is actually, for the sake of discussion, it's just one machine.
You can do more machine. You can scale also.
Where is that? That is
It will come. We have a lot to cover.
So here you are setting up.
You're starting with, but you can change anytime. So if you change it, it's called scale up.
Yeah.
If you change it, it's called scale up. And if you add it, it's called scale out. I'm going to show you. Yeah, I'm going to show you all, but I need to explain in an easy language so everyone understands. This is the hosting environment. Just like a GoDaddy. You ask, hey, GoDaddy, I want to deploy your application. GoDaddy say, you want this? If you do this one, it will charge accordingly. So let's do standard. I don't want to do free one. So we'll say standard. So S1.
Free one also.
Let's do standard. So we'll use standard. There are certain things you will not get if you do free one. So I have to use standard. So we are using that. Now, you can see here, this is no, make sure you understand premium version only have a redundancy. So you don't get redundancy. So it's a disable. So in that case, you don't get a redundancy, which is okay for our learning purpose. But in real life, you do need a redundancy. So far, so good?
It's just zone redundancy.
Yes. Now, at this moment, if you ask me, please understand. If you ask me, there are a couple of things are important. First important is our name. Second is important what approach we are going to take, code. Third important is what library we are using, what machine we are using, right? So this will, app service will create a VM with Windows operating system, and runtime it will install .NET code, which is good. Now, there is nothing special we are going to do. So I'm going to just say review and create because there is nothing special I'm going to do. So let's click on review and create, and within a second, it take a minute approximately because it will create a machine for you. So review and create, and it take a minute. First it's just review and then just say create. It will take a minute and resource will be created. Give me thumbs up if you're following so far with me. So far, so good. Awesome, Joya. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So this is like our baseline. So when you say, hey, GoDaddy, give me hosting environment, then GoDaddy will give you hosting environment. So right now they give you hosting. It means the machine is ready, the operating system and the runtime is ready. Do whatever you want. So now it's ready. I say go to resource. So let's click on go to resource. Click on go to resource. Then it will come. It takes approximately a minute to do that. And once you have, you will see go to resource. So now we are not doing anything. I'm just explaining. So I'm going to go to resources. So click on go to resources. If you see that, and you will see a lot of details now. And there are a lot of questions you may see in the exam. I want to take a few minutes just to walk you through. I'm sure you will understand as you go further. But can I count everyone is slowly coming here? Awesome. Now, 4 or 5 things I want you to understand, and this become a life. Okay. My life is most of time I do this way. So it's easy. First thing first, every website in the world will have domain. So I have domain. Yes. And I want to check, is it working or not? So just click on it and it will open the website, and congratulations, your dummy website, Hello World website is up and running. See, you can see your web applications are up and running. So Azure say, you know what, I have done a sample application for you, knock yourself. Means this is the way Azure say, check it out. I have machine, I have runtime, and everything is running for you. Now you deploy your application. So first thing, my site is working. How did I notice that? It's always in an overview. So in overview, please understand, in overview, you have default domain. Now the question is, can I change the custom domain? Of course you can do. So what is custom domain means? Like example, I want to do itexps.com. Please pay attention. itexps.com. If I want to do that, I can do that custom domain, but in that case, I need to pay money for that. So you can see here, there is an option called custom domain. So custom domain. So what will happen? Azure say, I'll give you IP address. You get domain. Normally domain you can purchase in $12 per year. It's not that expensive. So you buy that domain and you write that, then Azure will say this domain linked to IP address of this machine, the machine you created. Just now you created machine, right? Under this plan. So Azure will now link that domain. Domain you can buy from GoDaddy or anywhere. You buy domain, Azure will give you IP, you link the IP. So now anybody write domain name, it will come to this machine, which you just purchased in app services. So you have a way to write a custom domain. Right now, Azure is giving you free domain, but when you have free domain, Azure write their own name. But if you have custom domain, you can write your own name. Of course, custom domain does cost money. I would not suggest you to do, but one thing I will tell you, every one of you, and this is a side note, should have your business. If you are in IT, you should have your business, because sometimes you can say I'm a founder. It doesn't need to be like, real business. You can register the business, make sure your website, because some POC, some prototype you can do quickly. So again, many company does that. So if you want to buy custom domain, I'll just quickly show you. You don't have to do, but you can click on custom domain here. It's pretty simple, 2 minutes activity, and you can get a custom domain. So you can click here, custom domain, and it gives you IP address. So this is the IP address. Azure say, you know what, the machine which I created for you, this is the IP address. Where is your domain? So you add your domain and you do that. So like example, I go and buy from GoDaddy. Let's say I buy, domain called itexpert.net. I bought it. So when I bought it, after 40 hours, it is available. So I can add that, and I click on add and just name that. That's pretty much it. And now anybody in the world, when they add that domain, I can get this information here. So you can say here you can see here app service domain, right? And here you can say app service manage certifications, IP based SSL. So here I'm going to click on IP based SSL. And 1 second, it takes time. It's still not up, but it takes time. But then you can specify your domain name. It will give you options here. Write a domain name, and then it's still not done yet. But when it comes, you write your domain name, and once you do link, that's it. Now anybody in the world write this thing or your domain name, it will come to your website. That's straightforward. It seems like taking time. It will take time. So let's do cancel for now. Let's go back to overview. So that is one thing, how to access your website. That's one thing. The second thing we need to know is what operating system we have, which is Windows. Pretty clear. The third thing we need to know is the plan. Now, what if I made a mistake? When I created app services, what I did a smaller plan. I'm supposed to take a bigger plan. Is there a way I can do it? Can I change the plan? Answer is absolutely. That concept is called scale up. Scale up means you are changing the plan. Why would you change the plan? Maybe you have more users, maybe you have more memory need, maybe you have more CPU need. So there are two ways you can change it. One, you can click here and do, which I don't suggest you to do, but there is a options here. If you scroll down, there is an option here called scale up. I would strongly suggest you always use this thing, because this way you have a clear understanding what you're trying to do. Scale up. They both will take you to the same link, but scale up is the better option. Please understand, scale up means same machine. You're adding more resources. Machine still be same. So redundancy does not increase. Redundancy still doesn't increase because one machine can go down even though you have more resources. Scale out in other way, you are adding more machines. So you have redundancy and you have better performance. So make sure you understand, scale up means you are adding more resources, and scale out means more machines you are adding. Yes.
So there is a change app service plan. What is?
It's a plan is like when you add a higher machine, you get a more bill, like just like a Comcast, right? You first say free basic, then you are paying 49. So that's called basic plan. And then you say, no, I need an enterprise plan. Then you need a TV channel, internet, phone, and all. So based on plan, you have more resources and more money you have to pay. So let's do that. I'll show you. So you click on scale up. First, you click on scale up. So when you click on scale up, it gives you option what kind of plan you want to do, right? So here there are options and you have check mark. The first thing is, see here, we are right now standard. So it gives you what is the CPU you have, virtual CPU you have, memory you have, like that. And there is a SLA associated. As you go higher, you will have a more machine. So they say, see here, this one and this one. They both have one CPU. So if your CPU need is there, then this may not be the right plan. In that case, you may want to go this plan, right? Where you have higher CPU, where you have memory. So please understand, if you need a CPU intense application, as soon as you change, you're changing your plan. Make sense or no? So like example, if let's just for time being, let's click on this one. So here I'm going to click on this one. Please click on that. So now what I'm doing is I'm changing my plan. It means the original bill I was getting based on one CPU. Now I will be getting bill for 2 CPU and 8 memory. Now you select that. You select it and I'm upgrading that. So congratulations, you're upgrading the plan and plan has been successfully upgraded. Any questions so far? Now scroll up and go to your overview. So if you go to overview, you will see that the plan has changed. So you can see here, now it clearly shows me that you are using premium version 3.1. So you are saying that. So plan has changed. Make sense? Now let's do scale out. See, right now we have not added any application. Please understand. I have not added any application. I am just playing around my infrastructure, which we call hosting. Now scroll down. And there is another thing called scale out. There are two ways you can scale out. One is manually and one is automated based on the rule, which we did last week. But before I click here, I want you to see one thing here. Carefully see that. Still in general. Let me show you. Overview. Still overview. If you scroll down, there's a hosting. And it does say that I have only one instance, right? Now, when I'm trying to do scale out, you will see I will have 2 or more machines. You can see here, I already have scale up this plan, but machine wise, I have 1. So scale out will add more machines. So once I do it, you will see that. So now if I come here, scroll down a little bit and go to scale out, and you can see now scale out perspective, I'm going to click on it. So when I click on scale out, it will give me the options. You want to do manual scaling. Last, if you remember when we were doing scaling with scale skips, we were doing rule-based scaling, if you remember that. So rule-based scaling where we were doing if CPU goes this, add 1, if CPU goes this, network goes add up. So that's a rule-based. Right now, I'm going to do manual quickly. So instance count, you just click here and just add 2. So I'm going to do 2 machines now. So please understand, just click a little bit. Can I add more? Yeah. Can I decrease more? Yeah, you can do that all. And this is like a very interesting thing. This is called on demand. So I changed to 2 just for demonstration purpose. Can I scale manually? We are doing right now. Can I scale automatic, which is the preview version, so you should not use it. Rule based, which is nothing but condition based, and based on the condition, it can scale up or scale down. Right now we are using manual and we say click here. So we will have 2 instances. Now save it. So click on save. Now, once you save it, if you go to general, you will see that it will give me 2 instances. So now it says it's already done 2. Now, if I go back to the overview, now I have 2 machines. Scroll down a little bit. In hosting, you should have 2 machines. Questions so far? So this is so easy. At any time, you can scale up, scale down, either manually or through rules. People on phone, any question, concerns, doubt? So far? So far, so good? Awesome. Now, there is one interesting concept I need to cover before we start the application. This is called, please pay attention. There are so much things to learn, and this is so beautiful, right? There are two things you need to learn. These are a little bit different. Many of you might not be aware of that. This is like a Azure special concept. This is not exist in AWS. So what is this deployment slots? Please pay attention. So what happen is you start, let's say, your restaurant, and let's say your two type of divisions in your restaurant. Please understand. So if customer comes, you normally take them to this side, and here you are normally offering your regular menu. It's scroll up or scroll down. Yeah. After that, scroll up or scroll down. Yeah. So please understand, this is a restaurant. Normally customer comes and you offer this menu. But let's say sometimes you want to try some new recipe. So you introduce new recipe, and only few customers you allow here. And if that works, then you add that recipe here. So this type of thing normally company does. They create a two model. This is called trial model, right? Trial. And this is called production model. So production model, because you don't want to do trial in production, because that will be very bad. Something goes wrong. So most company does that two model. Some customer, they will send in trial. They call try at your own risk, right? Try at your own risk. Azure does as a preview. Try as your own risk. So preview, they keep it here. And the production, they will keep it here. And then later on, either they want, they can say this is good. Then they say stop this, start this, or they can swap it. So this is a beautiful option called slots. Can I create multiple slots? Answer is yes. So some company, most of company I work, they have a beta version. They have limited availability. Then they have general availability. So what does that mean? So these are slots. Beta version means I tell customer to use it. I tell. Limited availability means customer can use it without my permission, but they know it's not a production version. And this one, everyone use it. Now, this is supported by me. And if there is a problem, I will going to help them. But limited availability, if there is a problem, I'm not going to help, because I told them try at your own risk. Beta, I do it because one customer is asking. So I say, hey, whatever you ask, I develop it. Why don't you test it? Once they test it, they certify, then it go to LA. So others customer can free test it. And then LA to go to GA. So normally this is called development slots. On surface, you will not see that. They are identical. They are identical. But you also want to test it out the customer feedback. So like example, you can say that my 80% customers will go here and my 20% customer go here. So you can see some production kind of load and see what happened. If something goes wrong, you can do 100% here. Or later on, you can say, make it 0 and do 80 to 100% here. Why? Because this one is new and this one is old. So you have some game to play. Those are development slots. So let's click on it. So when you click on it, you will only see production. Now this, it's always good idea. If you are developing any application, you always have a good idea that you have a slot. Most companies use like a pre-prod in the sense of like when you're developing something, you put it in there, test it before you make it production. So always you should have at least one additional slot. Otherwise your production will be impacted, your customer will be impacted. So let's click on add slot.
So we created a VM.
We have not created VM. Azure created VM.
What does that slot does?
No, it does partition. It does partition through rule-based partition. Machine is still same. It's a rule-based partition. So like example, I have office here, right? I'm having that. One is for production and one is for trial. But it did not create a separate machine for you. It just partitions. So technically speaking, a separate application. So if you think about web server, IaaS server, there will be two applications. We'll do that. So you will see that. So now let's do add slot. Now add slot, I'm going to, because it's one is production, I'm going to give another example called dev. And I'll say add. Let's copy all of them. Now you may be asked in an exam, what is setting means? So what is setting means? So those who are developer, developer normally write a program, but they have something to read from property file or configuration. So what happened? Developer database name, database username, database password, some kind of things you want to read from property file. So Azure gives you that option is called setting. So that's anyone who has developed a code in Azure or ASP.NET, there is a file called application setting. So this is like a setting. Azure say, why to create a file? I'll give you the environment, setting environment, where you can write any key value, which your application can read as a environment. So you don't have to hide. You don't have to hide your password and other things in your file. You put it in here, so no one will have access, and you can secure that. So we are saying whatever you have done for this production, copy that. So I'm going to do add, and second, you will see the another slot. Pretty easy, right? Creating a slot shouldn't take time. It's create an identical copy of that. Technically speaking, both are working. They both will be serving same content at this moment because we do not have our own applications. When we deploy our applications, we'll have options. So right now it's done. Now close this window. And I'm hoping you all are able to see these two applications. One is this slot, production slot, and one is this. Each slot has their own domain. Please understand. Each slot has its own domain. So what happened? Your QA person can test it out these applications from that domain. So right now, you notice that if you remember last exercise when we did that, this was our master domain, which is the production domain, right? Yes or no? This is our production domain. Now go back to your Azure and click on the dev, and you will see that there will be a different domain which will have a dev somewhere. Okay, let's click on it. So when you click on it, you will see that you will have overview. And in overview, if you see the domain name is changed now, you can see that domain name has dev here. Make sense? So there are two domains you have. One is a production domain, one is dev. So if I click on this link, it will show me the same application, but it is in dev because we have not developed any application yet. So we have a choice. We can deploy in a dev slot or we can deploy in a production slot. Any questions so far? So far, you guys are with me? Ready? Okay. So right now, everything is good to go. At this moment, we are going back to our ASP tutorial. And where is the tutorial went? Yeah, this is the tutorial, right? So we have good news. We have created an Azure account and we are good to go. Now we are going to download Visual Studio Code. So click on that, please. We'll do Visual Studio Code. Please do so. So when you click on Visual Studio Code, it may take a minute or two and you will see this thing and then download. Again, I'm not a Mac user, but those Mac user for you, it will work. I'm a Windows user, so I'm going to download Windows. So just click on that. And once you do that, it may be a minute or two and it will see download. This software is a beautiful software. I like it. Microsoft released that in 2018, and this is very popular now. This is the smaller version of Microsoft Visual Studio. In case if you used earlier, they are very heavy and very slow. This is pretty small and pretty fast. So download is done. Now go back to your download folder and see this one. Go to your download folder and you will have a VS Code like that. And if you are able to see that, just double click and next, and install it. And give me sorry?
How did it get to Visual Code?
Sorry, what's the question?
How did we get to Visual Code?
I showed you, no? No, I didn't show you. Let me, this I'm showing you, right? This is the link. Did you take a break or what? Huh? Hola, my friend, did you take a break? Restroom break or what? This is the link. right? In case if you do not have link, I'm going to put it in the chat. Right?
Okay, I've seen it. So I go to Windows.
Sorry, my mistake. You click here first.
Yes.
Right? Don't take a break, okay, when I'm explaining, because otherwise you'll fall behind. And then just click here. These classes are pretty intense class, okay? So you shouldn't be taking even restroom break unless we have break. Because if you do like that, you will be like behind in a parking lot and I'll be in Chicago, okay? So click here and just download it. I'll put the link in the chat. So at this moment, I downloaded and I'm going to go and install the software. So once you download, you all should have this thing. Okay, just double click on it and follow the flow. It may take a minute or two to download and install. So just go through that process. This is one time required, but you do need a software for this. So I'm going to go through that and next. Just don't do anything. Just next. And within a 2 minutes, it should be done. Give me thumbs up once you have installed. Some of you already installed because earlier I requested. So if you have that, great. If not, just do it now. And this is now done. And I'm happy. My VS Code is ready. And finish. Let me know if you are able to do that. Give me thumbs up, so at least I know how many of you are able to do it. Because I have my VS Code ready. Sila say, awesome. Priyank is good. Very good. Nice. Ready? Ola, once you give me the thumbs up, we'll move forward. Joy is good. Good. Awesome. No, I have not done anything yet. Just want to give everyone opportunity. I'm just waiting for others to give me thumbs up. Well, I'll say, hey, awesome. Now, while you're installing, there are so many things this software offers. So we have to go quickly. Ola Bamboo, ready? Good.
Yes.
Okay, make sure you be responsive, my friend, because this is like bread and butter today. Without VS Code, we will not be able to do anything. So I hope you all are here. Now, couple of things. Follow the flow. Don't feel behind because otherwise, we'll lose a lot of quality time. So we're going to add extension. So please click on the gear icon. Click on gear icon. And we're going to install multiple extension. One, we will install Azure extension, and then we'll install other extension also. So click here. So when you click here, it is the option called extension. So follow make sure you follow the flow. Click here and click extension. And when you click on extension, you will get a lot of options. So first thing, we'll search Azure because we love Azure, right? So just search Azure, and as soon as you search Azure, there are tons of Azure things will show up. Now, you can technically speaking everything. So first thing, we want to make sure it is readable. So I'm kind of dragging this guide a little bit far so it's readable. First, we need to have Azure account. So you can see here, make sure you see here because I can't repeat this process. Once I do it, it's done. So first is the Azure account. You will do that. So just click here, install. It will start installing for you, install like that. Then click on install Azure App Services. So install Azure App Services. Then click on Azure resources. So you are done with that Azure account and Azure resources. Also install Azure function. We will cover in coming class, and install Azure storage and install Azure database. So you can see what I install. Many things I install. It takes a minute or two. And Azure tool. Let's do that also. Azure tool also. Please understand, these are like few minutes and you're done. This one will help me to log in. This one will help me to work with the database. This will help me to see the resources and all. This is the programming, which we'll cover that later on. App service, which we are doing today, and tools. So I'm installing all of them. It won't take more than few minutes to download and install. Good so far? Life is good? You can always add later, but right now, today, I need this many things. See, all are installed. Ready? Okay. Now, please understand. I did install this thing, and I'm hoping all of you are able to install. Now, there are a few things I want you to be comfortable. You can see as soon as you install, you see Azure icon here. Click on that and log in. So that way you will see all what you see in your Azure portal. So click on that. It will ask you to log in, and then you just log in. So you click on that and it will say login, and you will log in back. So click on Azure icon and it will ask you to options login. Let's see. And here you go. So first thing, you can see that it gives me option for signing. It takes a minute because of my installation is in progress, but you can click on it. And when you click on it, of course, it's going to ask you login, and will say yes, allow. And because you are already logged in a browser, it will automatically say you are logged in. So just log in. Did I use Tushar? Which one I use? Browser. Sorry for that. I have many accounts. Which one I use for Azure? I use Tushar. Okay. So it is prompting me. So I'll use my Tushar ID. And as soon as I did that, next it will go to my browser and it will verify that. And here you go. It says you are now done. So you say you are signing. If you see this message, if you come back to your VS Code, you will see all your subscription. Give me thumbs up if you are able to see that. People on phone, let's be a courteous, give a little bit thumbs up, and also at least I know you are with me, right? It's a very simple thing, and human nature, when you do that, you will be active also. Yeah. So we have a long run to go. Right now, we are only 10% done. Okay. So we have this thing. Now you can expand your, your subscription, and you will see app service there, and expand app service, and you will see your application, which you just created. Your all informations about that is visible. Your slots also there. You can right away see that dev is also visible there, right? So you can see everything what you have done so far. Pretty cool. So nice and beautiful thing here visible. At this moment, I have my VS Code is configured very well. Now I need to do .NET application development. So when I do .NET application development, VS Code may not know how to create .NET application. So VS Code will say, you know what, I don't even know what is .NET means. So we do need to download .NET runtime. But before we do that, I want you to follow me. Click on terminal. So you can get a small terminal window, just like a Linux window. Just say new terminal. Go to terminal, say new terminal. And when you are in terminal, we are going to write a command. Please understand, we are in terminal. In terminal, we are going to write a command. If this command is not recognized, then we will install the software as we go further. Today, we're going to install a lot of software. And trust me, you should be comfortable. There is no point to take this class when you are not understanding how to install software at all. What we are doing is not a coding. It's just a simple installation. This will become a natural in your house also. When you are getting smart house or smart appliances, you will be doing this type of thing. Why? Software version and all. So be comfortable. This is something gonna happen lifetime now. Just like your computer auto update, your phone auto update, because this is part of the nature. So right now, I'll go back to the tutorial which we were using, which is the tutorial here. I'll go back the master tutorial. In case if you do not have, I'm going to put it in a chat. Just want to make sure you always have this thing. Now, please understand, I'm here at this moment. At this moment, I want to run this command and to see if this command works. This command creates a sample MVC application name as this. Can I change name? Yes, I can. But this will create a sample application. So .NET new MVC. So we are saying use MVC framework and create this application. So I want you to copy this, only this command, Control C, copy that and paste it in your terminal and press enter. It will say .NET not found, most likely. If we say .NET found, then I have .NET installed. So right now it's a .NET not found. It's I don't even know what is .NET. It means I knew that because I did not install .NET. Okay, fair enough. What should I do? How should I get .NET? Very simple. Go to tutorial. In the tutorial, there is a link here. If you carefully see that, there is a link here, .NET SDK. So we're going to click on that and we will download the .NET SDK. This SDK will allow me to develop the ASP.NET application. So let's click on it. And when you click on it, it gives me options. I'm going to click download because this is the latest and greatest. What else I want today? I'm going to click on that. Boom, boom, boom. It start downloading. It will take a minute or two to download the .NET application. Once you download it, you just need to install. So it downloaded. Now go back to your download folder and you can see here you have your .NET application is API is downloaded. Now double click and just install. It will take a minute or two to install. Good news, you're setting up this machine for success. And this is all free. So it's wonderful. So let's double click and download. Sometimes what happens when you're downloading, VS Code will not detect that you downloaded. So you may want to close VS Code and start VS Code again. I'll show you that. But right now I'm installing .NET. Once you're done, just give me thumbs up. It may take a minute or two because it is installing a lot of things. Okay. This will allow you to do programming in C#, .NET, and a lot of things. So those who are saying I'm working on C#, this is the entire SDK. SDK stands for Software Development Kit. So you can do any C# related coding, and you can see right now it's doing it. It's going to download so much thing. And now everything is done. Today is my lucky day. So far, everything is going good. So I downloaded that. There's nothing much you can do when it is downloading. You just relax and enjoy, right? Nowadays, machines are very fast, so this is very smooth. I always suggest people like, have a good machine so you can do all those labs and homework and all. Trust me, I have done this lab many times just to make sure it works for you smoothly and close. And congratulations. If you have downloaded this, then you go and use up arrow on your VS Code, up arrow. In your VS Code, up arrow, in your VS Code, and you can see that if you can enter and it is not understanding. Do you agree? Because VS Code still think it's not there. So let's close VS Code for a second. So I'm going to close VS Code and I'm going to start VS Code again. Because sometimes when you install a new software, VS Code doesn't detect. You may want to close the VS and just search VS and you can open it. This time VS Code will open and you see on terminal. There is one small advice which I learned hard way. I want to make sure you all understand this thing. In terminal, when you press enter, please, when you go to terminal, it automatically comes to terminal, but if you press enter, you shouldn't be in any application. So right now I'm already in application. So I need to come out. So the best way to come out is cd space ... Try not to do anything in another application because each application should be independent. VS Code confuse when you have two applications merged together. It will create a hodgepodge. So let's do cd space ... So I'm going to do cd. Let's say cd space ... and press enter. So now I'm in a desktop. You can be download or desktop, doesn't matter. So it's up to you. If you feel like, I want to be download folder, you can do that as well. So it's your choice. You can do downloads. Like example, if you don't like desktop, you want to be download, then you can just cd ... write that cd space ... and you can say cd d capital download. And now you can see download. So I'm in download now. Again, you need to learn a little bit, Linux command. Ola, you should not have any problem. Know Linux very well. So in case I normally keep it download because I'll be doing all my work. I don't want to put on desktop because if I put on desktop, everything will be visible. In case if you're saying, hey, I don't know what you did. So you do cd ... cd space ... to come out. And when you are here, you do cd d capital download, right? And press and then tab. This is what I do. D capital download, right? And tab and press enter. So you're on download. At this moment, I'm ready to run my .NET command. If you are with me, just go back to your tutorial. So I'll go back to my tutorial. I want to make sure I back, and I copy this command one more time. And this time, if I press enter, and ta-da! It is doing that. Let me know if you are getting ta-da. Awesome, Priyank. Awesome. So good news, my application is created. And I would say congratulations, guys. Application is created. Trust me, when I did my first applications in ASP.NET Core, it was 2018 because .NET Core was introduced and we all were super duper happy. The reason we were happy because before that we were only using Windows EC2 Windows instance. But after .NET Core, we were able to use Linux instance and most of us know Linux very well. Having Linux, we always love .NET Core. After that, I never used ASP.NET just like that. I always use .NET Core because .NET Core works on Windows and Linux and .NET just works on Windows. So why would I restrict myself? So at this moment, what happened is we created an application. So application is created and this is the folder created. So let's go to this folder. If you want to go to that folder, you need to do cd space and then application name. So you can do cd space, or sometimes this command works also. Sometimes, not guaranteed, sometimes it works. So if you do code like this one, it will open that application here sometime, not guaranteed. So you can see this works. Code -r and I'll say open. I don't want to save this though. Don't save this, and you can see it open. So it will open that entire thing. Your project shows up here. If you're lucky, it will show up. If not, there is another way I can show you also. Are you guys able to see that?
Yeah, this works for me.
Yeah. And in case anytime you get the trust thing, just say trust. I trust this author. Anytime you see this thing, you just say, yes, I trust the author, sorry. At this moment, you will see this application is here, which is beautiful. MVC, M, V, and C. So far, so good, Rajan? Did you load it? Are you able to see? Yeah, did you refresh on here? It should have asked, huh? So if you see, in case, let's say you are not able to do, there is another way to do. So file menu, this is like a normal people do this way. File menu, open folder, and wherever you have created this project, you have to go and open that. So if I go to file, open folder, I know I have done in download folder. So in download, I just click on the project. Just click on the project, and just select folder. Let me repeat one more time. See here, file menu, open folder, and then you select that folder name, and then you say select folder like that. That's it. And you are in, right? Everyone is good. If anytime you say trust, just say trust. Now, if you are here, I would say, first of all, congratulations. You're about to do something which most people in a lifetime wanted to do, but don't know how to do. So you're ready to do something. Before you do that, I'm just going to give you a little bit crash course, making sure, give me 4 minutes and you will be fine. First thing, what we're trying to do, first see on the screen and try to understand. This is the controller, which is the program. Model is nothing but data. This is the where program is there. And view, where you have more about your UI, user interface. So first thing, expand the view and go to home, follow the flow and go to index.html. Just go there. Please follow this view, home, index.chtml. And there is a welcome here. Just write down your name. Welcome. Just write down your name. Welcome. And here, I'll say welcome, Tom. So at least I know this is my application, right? Welcome, Tom. And just do file, save. So this is file, save. So this will be saved. Please see on the screen. First you do view, then home, then index.html, and then you just write welcome here. You write your name.
It says that install C#.
Yeah, don't go. I'll explain. Follow this thing right now. Don't close the, don't do anything. Just do whatever I ask. Don't navigate yourself. File, save. Always file menu, save. At this moment, what we did, we made a change here. We are not teaching here MVC, but at least we know that. Now, please understand. We are going to say, hey, Azure, I'm going to deploy my VS Code application. Please understand. I'm going to deploy my VS Code application here. Azure say, do you have a build? Do you have a build for me? Now you say, what is build means? So build means source code has to be compiled. Source code has to be compiled into binary. Do you have binary for me? I said, no. Did you tested it? I said, no. So first we will test locally, we'll run it and we'll test it locally. Then we'll do local build. Once we do build, please see on the screen, please. First we'll run locally, then we'll build locally. Once we do build, then we can do deploy. So there are 3-step approach. Run means you run locally and test it out local. Once it is everything is fine, you do build. When you do build, it create a binary. Once you have binary, then you say deployed. When you deploy, it will go to app service, but there are 2 slots are there. We can pick a slots, whichever we like. By default, it will pick the prod slots, but I'll show you also how to deploy in a dev slots. Okay, so let's do one by one. Good news, tutorial is pretty good. So let's go back. And if you scroll down, tutorial say that you scroll down a little bit and you have options here, .NET run. So we're going to say .NET run. Okay, so go back to your VS Code where you don't worry about this install part. If you want to do install, just click on it. It's not going to hurt anything. Just click on it, install. Let it go. It will install in the background, no problem. And here right now, .NET run, just like that. Sorry, .NET run in terminal. So I'm going to copy the .NET run and I'm going to paste it here, Control V. As soon as you do that, it's going to run locally these applications. So check it out. Go to terminal. Terminal is the menu, new terminal. If anytime you have problem, anytime terminal disappear, you go to terminal and you do new terminal. Now you do .NET run, it's going to take a little time because it's going to build first. Yes. Mm-hmm. So now if you do .NET run, it's going to run the application and give you the URL. So you can see it will take a minute or two, and then you will say local host. It will show you local host. It means application is running locally and we can test it out. It just to build it. And once it builds it, it's going to give you that. First time it takes time because it is going to build entire thing. Once we deploy this, we'll take a small break. We are almost there. I want to make sure I complete run, build, and deploy. That's 3 things we'll do. Takes time, okay? It's not Microsoft used to know this thing. This is taking a lot of time. They're still working on it. Java, other application, this will be much faster. But anyway, you can see application is running. Now it says that application is running, okay? Now you can see here, if you carefully see that it's downloading all those things, let it complete that. And your window, which is here, you can go to terminal. If you see, go to terminal and you see there is a URL here. This URL, if you click on it, you will see if you go in terminal, you will see that it is waiting for you. This URL where the website is running, your website is running. So click on it. So when you click on it, normally do hold control and click, control and click, control and click, and you will see URL where it's a welcome Tom. Give me thumbs up if you're able to do that. Congratulations. So again, in terminal, you do click on this and you will see that application is deployed. So give me thumbs up if you're able to do so. Rajan, good. People on phone, I'm hoping you are doing. It's okay to give thumbs up if you are able to do. If not, ask question quickly. But don't just sit tight, okay? It's very important that you act, because remember, there are a lot to learn. But when you don't respond, I am confused right now. That one, are you able to do it? Are you following? Are you asking questions? So I see some of you are giving thumbs up, some of you are not. I'm hoping you are with me so far. Good, thank you, Priyank. Right now, the application is running. Now, I want to stop the application, so I'll say Control C. Control C. Control C means it will. Control C means it will stop it. Control C. C means, so I was able to test it. It worked very well. Now we go to the next step. After I run, I'm going to do build. So let's scroll down in your tutorial and then we'll do, they don't have build, right? So we'll do publish state. No, I don't want to do publish stuff. Let's do this then, that's fine. So let's do this one. Copy this command, .NET publish release like that. So I don't type it, I just paste it here. And then Control V. So basically it will just create a binary. Output is binary. Bean stands for binary. So it will do that. Let it go. It will be done in 1 or 2 minutes. And it's done. It is the build. So it's done. Yeah, so it's done now. This command I'm not typing, but I'm taking from tutorial. The reason I do, because I know some of you, when you type a little bit incorrectly. So the main goal of the exercise, type less, do more. Okay. Now the last step, ready? Last step, remember, we have two here. First thing, I want to make sure you understand this one is your project, your web application project. This one is Azure, right? These are Azure Explorer, and this is your Explorer. So let's go to this one. Go to this one. This is your project. You build it. So if you do build, you have this project, right? Everything is here in this project. So now you right click here in your in your bin. Right click on your bin. You should see deploy web app. Yes. Do you see that? Right, this one. Let me repeat, guys, in case if you're not, I do not write command. Please do not type anything. This is not a typing class. So you paste this command. When you paste it, it is a convert source code to binary. Now the binary, you can see here we have given path also being published. So that's why I know here. So I came here. Now I right click on, I expanded this thing, build. I think when we deploy, it did not deploy correctly. So just give me a second, because looks to me it did not deploy correctly. Publish. So let me deploy one more time. Because it did not deploy correctly, that's for sure. I can say that because it should pick it up the thing. Always deploy the workspace. Let's see. It's deploying, let's see. Okay, browse. Yeah, it worked. So it did not deploy correctly. So first, let's do .NET on your screen. Please write down .NET build. Just type .NET space build.
Publish, not the publisher.
No, here on terminal. In terminal, just space .NET space build. Good. Make sure everyone please go to terminal, write .NET space build. Good. And then in your application, follow this flow. Application, bean, and then publish. And right click here and deploy. And give me thumbs up if you are able to see hello Tom, something like that. It will take time, but you will give me thumbs up. If you are able to give me thumbs up, because this is something first step. So you are able to deploy.
Build was not.
Now let's try to do web. So for web, how it will work. So here I'm going to use DevOps. This is a kind of DevOps type of concept I'm trying to do it. So let me zoom this exercise, how it will work. And bear with me. In case if you are not very clear, ask. This exercise is independent, has nothing to do with the previous exercise. So in case first exercise did not work, don't feel awkward. You can do this exercise. So in this exercise, please see on the screen, we are going to create a GitHub account. We are going to create GitHub account. When we create a GitHub account, this account, please see on the screen, GitHub account, and then we'll create a repository. We'll create a repository. Repository is nothing but folder. In that repository, we'll add one simple index.html. We'll just deploy one index.html. Very simple HTML, hello world type of thing, which we did last week, if you remember when we did skill set. So once we deploy that, now we are going to go back to our app service, which is Azure App Service. In Azure App Service, we'll use this time dev slot. In dev slots, we'll say, you know what, I want to do static, or we will create a new thing. And then we'll say in static, we want to have DevOps pipeline. So we'll say we'll do through pipeline, which is called Git. And in Git, we will provide our repo URL. So when you provide repo URL, it will ask you username and password. The only problem is if username and password it did not ask, then we will not be able to do this exercise. So sometimes it doesn't pop up quickly, sometimes it does. So bear with me. If it doesn't pop up, we will not be able to do it. But otherwise, if it pops up, then what happened? Just like you were doing previous exercise, we were deploying our code from VS Code. Now we are deploying our code from GitHub. And index.html, it is actually here in GitHub, but because you have DevOps pipeline, our Azure will go get it that data or code from GitHub and then deploy it to the appropriate slot. So this is the whole exercise, but we need a GitHub account. Then we need simple index.html. So we're going to do step by step. I'm pretty positive it will work. So if you remember last week, we have index.html we created. So we'll use the same index.html. So I'm going to open this, just give you idea. In case if you do not have, I'm going to paste the code into your chat. So that way you can create index.html. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Joya. Thank you. The file is a very simple index.html. We are using this file last week, but in case if you do not have, the code is simple, easy, hello Tom, very simple. So this is like my first artifact. I have this thing. Now let's go to Google and create a GitHub account. When you create a GitHub account, they may ask you to play a game and play the game and you create an account. So GitHub, I have a GitHub account, so I do not need to play a game. But in case if you do not have an account, this is a free software. You all should have at least GitHub account. Just like everyone should have a LinkedIn account, same thing. Every professional should have GitHub account. If you don't have a GitHub account, people will say, huh, really? Like that, because it's so important, right? So those who do not have an account, you may want to sign up. And when you sign up, you may have to play a game and then you will get an email. Once you get an email, you verify the email and there you are back to in. So please create an account. It's a free account, lifetime, it will work. Every company use GitHub. So this is kind of because software version, software code version management. So sometimes SCM, so software code version management people use, or version management, whatever you do. While you guys are creating account, let's take a time a little bit, and rather than waiting, we can create also Docker Hub account. So Docker Hub account. So you can just say dockerhub.com and create an account also for Docker. So those who have account Docker Hub, no worries, but if you don't have Docker Hub account, you can also create a Docker Hub account. I'm going to put a link in the chat. So this is lifetime, you can use it. So just write down Docker Hub or hub.docker.com. I'll add the link and create an account. If you do not have an account, may take a minute or two, just sign up that. I have an account, so I'm going to log in. Sometimes people use the same account as a GitHub and then log in, whichever works for you. That's fine. Oops. Oh, no. Oops. Really? Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, I mean, I want to reset my thing because I have so many things. So again, please create a GitHub account. Once you have GitHub account, you're done logging, and then you create a Docker Hub account, not active. Okay? So now click on the new here. So there is a new here. This will help you to create a repository. So just click on new, and you will have ID, your ID, and write a name. You can write any name. So here I'm going to write a new web, something like that, new web. Just write, this will be a new application. It's a folder basically. Repository is nothing but folder. Sorry, my mistake. Yeah, and then keep it public. So new repository, public, and you are just creating. You don't have to do anything, just say create. So just write a new web. Okay, make sure you write new web here, public, and just create. So that will create a folder. And folder is created. Congratulations. So when folder is created, you can click here. You can click here. This is your project, technically speaking. So if I click here, that's my project. Okay, that's my project. And in this project, this is my repo URL. This is my repository URL. Okay, Azure will need this URL. And in this URL, through Azure will know what you have inside. So this is a repo URL. We'll need that later on. So you can copy it if you want and keep it safe. So you don't have to look around. I normally do that. So I'll keep it safe. So this is my URL. So I copied it. Now I want to upload index.html. So in order to do so, the first thing you can do is click on a code. So you can go back to that. So here we'll go to code. So if I go to code, my screen will change a little bit. Second, why my screen changed? Second. Screen did not change. Okay, here you go. Yeah, here. No. 1 second. Let me click here. I'm looking for the upload button for you. So click anyway. Let me click here. I'll click on my main. Sometimes screen doesn't change properly. So click on main and my new, which is the new project. Where did it go? Maybe here you go. So this one is new web, which is I created here. New web. Oh, here they have here. Okay, they have a button here. They used to have a button here, upload. Oh, they have here. Okay, so we're gonna click on uploading existing file. Okay, click on here, uploading existing file, and we'll upload index.html. So click on upload existing file. And here you choose your file index.html, which is we did last week. In case if you did not, in a chat, I put the index.html. So I have index.html. We created static website. So double click on that. So index.html is here. So just choose your file and whatever file you created last week, right? You pick that index.html. Once you put it, you need to provide commit command. So some instruction for commit. So we'll say initial file, and then you commit. Then you commit. So when you commit, you will see screen like this. Let me know if you are able to upload the index.html. You will see that index.html added. And this is your main branch. You are in the main branch. This is your index.html. This is your repository. This is your repo. Give me thumbs up if you are able to upload the file. Good.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you. Nice. Now everything is good to go. Now I'll go back to Azure and try to ask Azure, go get it and build it, deploy it. And that time I'm going to use deployment center. So I set it up this thing. Now let's go to Azure where we have our application set up. So I'm in Azure. This time I'll go to deployments slot and select Dev selection. So I go to deployment slots, and I deployment slot. One second. I think it's already open or what? I'm in a Dev. Oh, I'm already in Dev. My mistake. That's why it is. As I say why it is like that. So I'm already in a Dev slots. So if you are in Dev slots, great. If not, we need to be in Dev slots. So how you go there? So like if you remember when we started the application, right? We created 2 slots. So let me go in case if you are not there. So you could start with the application resources, right? So in case if you're not there, you can say app services. You go there, app services, and when you are in app services, you pick your application service, and you have 2 slots, right? By default, your slot, the original slot which you had here, by default, you have this one, which is the main slot, which is the public main URL slots, right? And if you go to deployment slot, in deployment slot, you have options, this one. So this is deployment slot. So if you click on deployment slot, you will come to that. So right now I'm already in deployment slot. Now, how do I know I'm in deployment slots? You can see here, I'm in deployment slot, dev slots, right? Now I click on deployment center. So there is an option here, deployment center. Deployment center allows me to do CI/CD pipeline. So I'm trying to do CI/CD pipeline. Okay, I'm trying to do. There are subject and there are, if we are lucky, the username and password will pop up. And if it is pop up, everything will work. Okay. So deployment center. Now you click here where the code is. So for our code is in external Git, right? Our code is in external Git, right? There are 2 ways I'll try to do. If this doesn't work, there is another way we'll try to do. Create a new app service and static website will do. So this is what normally do. So you can go to external Git.
Azure also provides it.
Yeah. Azure has their own, actually Microsoft own Git, right? So external Git, and here you provide your repository. When you provide repository, so I have copied the repository URL if you remember that. So I copy the repository URL. In case if you forgot, you can go to GitHub and there is a green button. If you click on green button, you have this repo URL. So you can copy that repo URL. So you can click on the green button and then you copy that. So this way you can copy the URL. You need that URL. Now, I have seen many times there is a problem happen. So if I put URL and it error out, it means it doesn't understand my proper credential. Normally, it will ask you authenticate and it will give you the username and password information. Sometime it works, sometime doesn't work. So I'll be, see right now I put a Git, right? Branch main. How do I know branch main? Because here you can see this is the branch main. This is, we are using it. Perfect. Now we are just say, see right now I have, and I'm gonna save it. But so write main, main main, type main, and when you type main, it gives me option save. At this moment, it should prompt username and password. If it prompt, we can move forward. If not, we have to do something differently. So save. See right now it's trying and it errored out because this is the known issue that it does not prompt the username and password. So don't cry. There is another way we can solve this problem. Yeah, just type main. You have to type main and then save.
Save.
Yeah. So when you try to save, it will not work because it is not knowing the username and password. That's the problem. So don't cry. There is another way to solve this problem. Okay. It doesn't give, right? It errored out. Your work successfully. Then why don't you search your website and see, do you see hello world?
So
I think so. Just try. If you are able to do that, refresh your application and see if it is saying index hello world there, and refresh that website. Domain, yeah. Do you see index.html or
No, I see your web.
the old one, right?
Old.
Don't worry. Let's try this way. This is second operation because I noticed this will be an issue. Let's go here. Search app service. We'll do quickly app service. It won't take time. People on phone,
The
let's.
same there, right?
No. This is going to be new app service because I'll show you the process. Because when we did it, right, we selected code. We selected code, not a static, right? So it doesn't allow me that. Now I'll create again. So this is a brand new exercise, people. So please do so. There is no dependency on previous. So let's do app service quickly. App service. And then I'll say create app service. Please quickly follow. Create. And then we'll say static web app. Static web app. So when you are static web app, I'm going to use the same resource group. And I'm going to give my web app name something now. So like example, test web app 123, something like that, if it is available. Now here, please understand, it gives me option GitHub. And you may have options to write your username and password, right? So your screen might be a little different than mine because I have done this setup, but no problem. First, select the resource group. Second, give the name. Don't give my name because you need to give unique name. So you can write something, your name and all, right? Plan, we are using hobby project, so we'll do free. Okay. Are you understanding? There is free. Now here you will have GitHub, and then you will have username, password, repository, and also fill those informations. In case if you don't have here, you have this here. So you can see organizations. So you click on organization, that's your ID. Now repo, which is the something which
Let us sign in with GitHub.
yeah, sign that. You have to sign first. Okay. And today's project I do new, right? What did I do? What was the project name? My new web, right? So new web. So new, yeah, this one. So please understand, you have to do three things here. First, you will have a username and password. So this will help you to log into GitHub. This one is your ID. This one is a GitHub project name, which we have created new web. And this is your branch. Good. Now you can see here, it says GitHub action. So normally what happened, enter value to create GitHub actions workflow file to build and release. You can modify the workflow later. So right now I click here, and right now I'm going to select HTML. So GitHub knows that this is the HTML project. Okay. I'm not selecting. Yeah. Now see here, if you move your mouse, it says your application code, for example, app like this. So keep it like that. And right now, I don't think it will have a problem, but let's preview workflow. I don't have to do preview, just review and create. Review and create. So what happened, Microsoft right now is going to talk to GitHub. You can see right now it clearly said that I'm going to talk to GitHub. I'm going to take the branch and get the code for you. So now create. So it will take a minute or two, and then you will have app service created with your index.html. So this way you can deploy your website, which is in a GitHub. So right now it's done. And if you click on Git resource, go to resources. You have the URL. And in your URL, you should see index.html. No problem. Can I count everyone is able to see at least this one? Good. Now go back to Azure, and this time we'll go to our deployment. Sorry, yeah. I need to go to deployment. Where is that? 1 second. Where did it go? It came, right? So this is our second exercise. People on phone, any questions? So this time I'm deploying my website to this thing. So basically what happened, it keep pulling the data. So let's see if you want to try it out a little bit further. I go to GitHub, right? I go to GitHub. I click on index.html. And then I'll say, hello, Tom 2. I try to edit this thing. So there's a pencil. Let me repeat again. Please see on the screen, I'm here. I'm in a repository. I click on index.html. And then I use a pencil to edit. I'm going to edit here. So I'm editing this file. I'm going to do hello index 2. And I'm going to say commit changes. So using pencil, I edit. Now I say commit changes. Commit changes. Now you can write whatever you want. Just write some comments. So 2, I'll say index 2, commit changes, I save it. Now what happened is Azure is pulling this information. Azure is pulling this information. So after a few seconds, you will see index 2 here. It won't take immediately. So there are a couple of ways you can do, but right now I took a free plan. Otherwise, there is a concept called sync. So if I go back to our Azure, there's a concept called sync, and that's what I wanted to see here. If I can see that environment, there's options called sync. Yeah. Just 1 second. I'm trying to see where it is here. Give me a second. I just want to show you. It will refresh, but it takes time. But normally it should refresh now. Yeah, it refreshed. You can see that it refreshed index 2. Do you see that? People on phone?
Yes.
Good, good, very good. Now let's do third exercise, which is very similar like this, but it is Docker. So let's understand what is Docker part, which I'll draw another example. So this one we did, you see step by step it worked. Now let's do Docker exercise. So how does Docker works and how we'll do that? Now in this class, most of you do not have Docker knowledge. So what is Docker? So in easy language, Docker is a runtime environment where you put your application code here. Please pay attention. Or you can put web server, or you can put database server, whatever you want, you put it in a container. It's a runtime environment. And then let's say if you want like a program, like example, if you want, let's say some file, source code, configuration, put together and create an image, which is called Docker image. So your program, like example, the person who write a program, please understand, they put their program in a Git. They put their program in a source code Git. Using Git, they run the Docker file, and Docker file normally create this image. So what you have in image? You have small operating system. You will have application code. You will have configurations, and you will have runtime. So runtime is there, operating system is there, configuration is there, application, because everything together in this image, wherever you deploy this image, it's going to work. It's going to work. Wherever you deploy, it's going to work. So nowadays, this is like one of the requirements that you don't deploy application from, just like we did ASP.NET, right? The requirement is you don't deploy ASP.NET application like that. You create a ASP.NET as a image and then deploy. But we don't know the Docker right now in this class. So we don't have Docker such file and all. So what we can do, we can use a free file. There are a lot of free Docker available. So we'll use NGX. So Nginx, it's a web server. We'll use Nginx to do that. And we'll say, hey, Azure, deploy this Nginx so I can understand process. So in order for us to do that exercise, we will do another app service, but this time we'll do container. Now, at this moment, all of you should have Docker Hub login. So can I count everyone has Docker Hub login? If you have Docker Hub login, search here Nginx, Nginx, search on that. This is the very popular tiny web server, Nginx. It's a web server and it's publicly available. So we're going to use this one to deploy on our Azure. Will take 2 minutes to do so. You will need to understand process. Again, we are using Azure DevOps process to pull this image. Trust me, image is here. Azure will pull for us. How? Let's check it out. So we'll go back again. We'll create a new app service. So you can click here on search and go to app service. Please follow the flow. Click on app service. We're almost finished line. So click on app service. Now I'm going to create a new web service. So click on create and we will create a web app. We'll create a web app. Web app. You can give a same resource group. You can give a same resource group. So RG web and give a anything. So here I'll say my Tom Nginx. I give name, you give any name of your choice. This will be my domain name. This time I'm going to select Docker. I'm going to select Docker. Okay. So when I select Docker, it's going to say what kind of thing you want. So definitely I want by default Linux because Docker loves Linux. Okay. This is the same resource group. This is my custom name, domain, Docker image. Don't forget. Now, if you scroll down, it's going to ask you, let's go to next.
It says only email.
That's fine. That's fine. Let's go to next.
Disable.
No, here. Please don't worry about it. Just right now, let's go to next here, database. There you will see Docker screen, next Docker. Now here is the most important part. At this moment, you all should be here. Now what we are trying to do, these are the questions you may see in the exam. So if you are doing Docker have a choice. You can create one image, or you can create image 1, image 2, and then you combine together, create a compose. So compose is they are not supporting yet. So you create an image. So we'll say select single container. Single container means one image has one software running. It can be web server, it can be database server, or it can be your application or web application, but it only one. You cannot have application and database. Only one. Each one has a separate. So single container. Now image source. So I'm saying, hey, where you have image source? So we'll select Docker Hub. Now it is asking, which one is public? Now it's a image and tag. So image and tag. So image and tag. So what is that? If you go here on Docker Hub, if you scroll down, there is information about that, all information about here. So you can see here, this is what you're trying to do. So here, let me just show you here. Let me show you this 1 second. I wanted to show you there are tough one. Let's go up all the way. Here there are a lot of versions here. See here. These are all different versions available. So anytime your image, please understand, anytime your image has a name, and that image have version also. So you can say colon 1 or 2 or 3, or you can say latest. So our image we're going to select here is this one. So see here, our image name is Nginx. So we're going to select Nginx. So we'll say, hey, Nginx. So we'll go here in our Azure We'll say here, my image name is NGINX. Make sure you write in lowercase. If you write in uppercase, it won't work. It has to be lowercase. And when you are not writing anything, it will automatically think as a latest. Okay. Now, you would say networking, there is nothing to do. So I'm just going to say review and create because that's all. I don't need anything else. So please understand, we selected single container, Docker Hub, public, and image. Now review and create. It takes a minute or two and it will create the applications and create. Right now what happened, Azure is going to go through the what they call Docker and try to pull that image and try to create. Then NGX is nothing but web server. So if it works, you will see web server running. That's all. But you got the process. Now instead of NGX, it can be any image and you can deploy the same way, right? You can deploy the same way. Let's give a minute or two. So go to resource will be ready. Now resource is ready. We're going to click on this thing. When you click on this, I want you to see two things here, a log, because this time we want to see the log. The reason we need to see log because we are using container. So what happened? What happened? We need to see that. So first thing, if you click on log here, right? View log stream, log, view log stream. So right now, let's see what happened. So right now I'm trying to connect and it's give me options here. So you can see like always on this thing. So it looks like it did something. This is like this one, but it's still not the one I'm looking for. Starting logs. I don't see anywhere my Docker image. Okay, no problem. Scroll down. There is one also on a, yeah, here. Deployment center. Now I want to see my log because I need to see my log. Did container did work or not? So deployment center, it is not there. So deployment center log.
Even on the overview, there is log.
No, this log, I need my container log. So yeah, here you go. See container log. So you can see now container came up and it completely provide that information. So what happened is your container, how it is running, you can see that. So deployment center log. And so you can see here, it is saying Docker run dexpose 80 and then it is running. So at this moment it is running and there is no error. It successfully ran and it's ready to serve the request. Perfect. Because sometimes you have error, you do need to troubleshoot. Now go to your general overview and click on that and you will see your Docker running. So go to general overview and click on your default domain. And I would say, congratulations, your NGX default page will be visible. So in overview, click on here and NGX is running. So if somebody has created image for ASP.NET, you should have seen that. If somebody has created image for React, you should see that. Good. Any question, concerns, doubt? Okay. So right now we are almost on time. So right now, first of all, thank you. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you destroy your resource group so you won't be charged before you further. So let's go to resource group. This is wonderful labs. Trust me, you are learning like super duper thing. But in case if you have a problem with machine and all, don't be discouraged. Make sure you do it because remember you are building a career. I'm here to help, but at the end of the day, you need to put effort. I